What's going on, you guys? Rob Wolkenbrod here from Wrestling Junkie, here to break down night one of WrestleMania 40. Now, it was presented as the biggest, grandest thing ever, and yeah, in some ways, in the lead up to it, yeah, it was, because, WWE has been red hot. You have The Rock coming in, you have two big nights full of matches that have been, the build have been red hot for over the past couple months, and there's a really good feeling coming into tonight, and especially under a new era with Triple H, perhaps this was the biggest. So starting off right away with Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. This opened up the show. Now, any other year, this could have been a main event, but of course, The Rock coming in and CM Punk before he got injured, that kind of changed things up. But this was a quality opener for the show, where you have the fans who are red hot for Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch is just a pro at this point. I mean, she's been doing this for years, well established. She's a rock star. So having these two lead off a big weekend like this, I have no problem with that. And they've put on a pretty good match. Now, to me, the result's never in doubt. This was always Rhea Ripley's to win. Becky Lynch didn't need the title win at WrestleMania. She's had that before. She's had her moment. So Rhea Ripley gets her win again at WrestleMania, and she's just going to keep going up. And the sky's still the limit for her. And honestly, I don't know when she's going to be dropping this title anytime soon, because there's just no one else built up to go after her, unless a potential draft, maybe sometime in April or May, shakes things up a little bit and you get some new challengers for her. So maybe it comes down the line, but not so sure at the moment. Next, we have your good old car crash of a six-pack challenge match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. They presented this as you need to pull down both titles to win. So now you have the Raw tag titles and you have the SmackDown tag titles. And that became the case because they were both hung separately above the ring. And, of course, it turned into two teams winning. First one being Grayson Waller and Austin Theory taking the SmackDown titles, and you have R-Truth and The Miz taking home the Raw titles. Now, leading up to this, everything with that was good, but I had a lot of fun with this match. I had a lot of fun with this, between the silly R-Truth spots where he's going to tag in, between him and JD McDonough going through the table, and just a lot of crazy spots with ladders looking like they're made out of foam with how people are going through them. This was just the ultimate chaotic, crazy WrestleMania ladder match that you'd always want. And I always wanted this coming in. I thought this was awesome, fun, just what you need at a show like this. And I would take this any WrestleMania. I guess the most significant part of this, is that titles are going to be split across both shows. Next up, we had Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Not a lot to talk about with this. There's a little more heat leading up to it, and I didn't really love the way how this was all put together, too. It was kind of felt hot shot over the past 2 weeks, where they just kind of threw Dominic Mysterio in there to go face his father in a tag match. Okay. And then between all the switcheroos of Rey Mysterio's partner, going from, you think it could be Carlito, and then Dragon Lee, maybe Carlito again, and then it becomes Andrade. Okay, sure, fine. And then you have the pop culture integration here with Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson coming in. That was a little awkward, but it was fine. It worked out perfectly. Okay. It's going to get some headlines, mainstream attention. Sure, fine, no problem. The only other thing I really have to say about this match is that I don't think it really helped anyone. I don't think it helped anyone's aura. I don't think it helped anyone's heat, especially for someone like Santos Escobar leading a heel faction. I think this dinged him big time. For Dominic, I don't think it does much to him. Rey, no. Andrade, no. But does it help anyone coming out of this? No. And did Dominic and Rey really need another WrestleMania match against each other with just 2 weeks to build after they were separated from each other for about a year on Raw and SmackDown? No. The match that really surprisingly underwhelmed me was the Usos matchup. Now, I love the video package that they played before this went on, really kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit, going into their real names, because their real names aren't Jimmy and Jey Uso. So I really like them going to the history of, I mean, they're brothers. This means something. It's personal. But I felt that was better than this match, because this match kind of just came and went. It just was anticlimactic. Didn't do a lot for me. Didn't do a lot from people who I spoke to at the event. And this was also a bigger underlying thing, but the crowd just didn't feel into it either. They were quiet as well, which is just surprising, because these two have been a part of a red-hot bloodline storyline for years. I mean, besides the fact that they're brothers, there was a time where Jey turning on the bloodline to go turn face, that looked like a huge deal. So the fact that this just kind of came and went, and it was really just forgettable, it was a little disappointing. And maybe they could have used more time to tell their story, but the fact that the brothers didn't work out together in the ring, that was interesting. And Jey winning with just a splash was okay, sure, fine. Where these two go, I'm not sure. I think it'll be very dependent on night 2 of WrestleMania and how that main event goes, and if they get involved or not. And my guess is going to be yes, but that's coming up soon. Jey gets the win, fine. Kind of move on from there, because there's really, unfortunately, the match just came and went, and it was probably the one that you'll least talk about from the night. Now, another short match that was more of a showcase match was Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi taking on Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and Asuka of Damage Control. This was more about showcasing Jade Cargill, showing off that, hey, this is her real debut match beyond the Royal Rumble, showing what she can do, and it's just her dominating, looking strong, looking like the superhero that they're presenting her to be. Basically, they're presenting her to be like Storm. I mean, and you could really say that. I mean, the Storm's coming, as they say in her entrance. So this was a great showing for her. It checked all the boxes, how they're presenting her really, really well. And you can tell there's been a lot of time and effort put into this to make sure everything goes right. How this goes with maybe longer matches down the road, especially a singles match that Jade has to do, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell on that. But, I mean, presentation-wise, it's dynamite. And making her look like an all-star and one of the next women who are going to lead this division into the future, along with Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and anyone else that comes along. Now, my match of the night, I'm sure it's going to be other people's match of the night, was Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I had some questions about having Chad Gable sit on the sideline for this, especially once upon a time it seemed like he was going to be the guy, even though he lost his title shot, I believe it was last fall. So they still worked him into the storyline in some way, having him help Sami Zayn get ready for the match, kind of inspiring him along the way, kind of Rocky-ish. I guess that's what it seemed like they were going for, even with some of the promo packages with the dramatic music. And I think when they had them working together to train Sami Zayn to face Gunther, what sold me here was, even beyond the family, Sami Zayn being with them backstage, when Kevin Owens hugged him and cheered him before going out on the stage, that was cool. That was really cool. Really cool to work those two in together just for that one moment, and gives you goosebumps, makes you happy, and you're like, okay, I think I see where we're going here. They wouldn't do this for no reason. They wouldn't have all these people cheering on Sammy for no reason, showing all these moments, investing so much time in this. I really, really like the setup to that. It sold me. And then the match, whew, man. It was not the longest match of the night at all, but the brainbuster, the haluva kicks, those power bombs that Sammy took repeatedly, or it just looked like he was landing on his head, or his head was smacking against the canvas every time. It was a story of Sammy just being relentless and getting up when Gunther was just going to knock him down over and over and over again. And you know what? I had some questions myself about the story coming into this for the past maybe month or so, but it really culminated well, and you have to give credit to just the long-term storyline telling, And then, of course, Gunther and Sami Zayn, what they did in the ring across maybe give or take 15 minutes or so. It was special. It was a really good match, and what a way to cap off a 666-day reign for Gunther, greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I mean, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, too. And he's also losing this title because he's going to move up to the world title scene, I'm going to figure, whether it's from his promo skills to in the ring and just how he presents his character. He could be landing a world title shot tomorrow. Now, I think he's going to probably get taken off TV, maybe for a little bit. That's just my guess. Because you need to draw this out a little bit where he's just coming off this massive loss. So let him sit away from TV maybe for a little bit and let Sami bask in the glory of ending yet another crazy long title reign. Now we get into our main event of the evening, which had 20 minutes of entrances alone. It was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. If Reigns and Rock won the match tomorrow night in the main event of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship will be Bloodline Rules. This match was it was a spectacle to start. Like I said, 20 minutes of entrances. The Rock's entrance, I feel every time he comes out for a new entrance, it goes up a level in some way. And this, I mean, Bull coming out in the fire on the stage, and then with the blue lightning bolts, and then I pop every time when I see or hear the Hollywood Rock entrance theme. You haven't heard that in 20 years, up until about a couple months ago. And it really is just about how is Rock going to hold up after not having a full-length match like this in over a decade. And really, he's only wrestled a couple of times in the past 20 years. So there was, I believe it was an ESPN article that came out earlier this week that discussed how he went through weeks of a training camp where he had a ring flown out to him just to get ready to get in shape for this, because there was that moment on Raw earlier this year where he got physical in the segment and he looked out of breath. That was a little troubling. Here he did not look out of breath, although they didn't make him do too many crazy high-tempo things, which is perfectly okay. That's not him. He still worked a 40-minute match. Yeah, it gives something there. Even though I'm sure some of it he hung out on the side of the ring. Roman Reigns did a lot of the brunt work in the ring, but Rock he took the hits from Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. He went through an announcer's table. I mean, I give him credit for that. He looked good doing all of this. I must say, I give him credit where credit's due, even though he's taken a ton of criticism the past couple months. Here, I think he really did well. He did about as well as he could, not wrestling like I said, over a decade. If you really want to throw in the Eric Rowan match at WrestleMania a couple of years back, a full-length match, it's been since the rematch with John Cena at WrestleMania. I believe that was 2013. So the match itself started off very slow. I was kind of curious if this was going to turn into just to a tag match for like another Raw or SmackDown. Maybe you could have thrown this on. I mean, of course, with the star power, maybe not. But for a tag match of this magnitude, I was like, okay, the pacing it's nothing special to me, but probably about 15 minutes in, they picked it up, especially when it started going to the outside, and then The Rock basically telling the referee, if you do anything to really slow this down, I think it was with a potential count out, he said he would fire him. That's using that board of directors role kind of thing, to working into it. I have no problem with that. I think that's kind of fun. I think it's just that silly kind of fun, making him look powerful, making him look like he has all the total control. And you know what? It really opened up this match where they could do whatever they want on the outside. Sure, it didn't go full hardcore match where you broke out tables, ladders, and chairs, but you still had Cody putting Rock through an announcer's table. You had the strap coming out with Rock and hitting Cody with it, and really opened up the match to become this really just a funner thing where it's like, is this just going to be a standard wrestling match? I don't think that's needed. I think you want a little more pizzazz in there. You also have some story elements that were thrown into this. You have Seth Rollins banging up his knee. Could that affect him tomorrow night against Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship? Maybe so. And then you have Roman Reigns accidentally spearing Rock midway through this match. Could it be some signs of maybe these guys aren't fully on the same page? Potentially. Potentially, maybe it works into some kind of other miscommunication tomorrow night, especially with anything goes, and you could expect anyone to show up in there, but we'll get to that in a second. So now it's just that ending of that match. Now really calling out that ending of the match where The Rock pinned Cody Rhodes. He has to win in some way, especially if he's coming back for more, which my hunch is he is, because why is he pinning Cody Rhodes clean in the center of the ring? Well, maybe if Cody Rhodes is winning at night 2, maybe we're getting The Rock and Cody Rhodes in a match down the line. And they've had so much animosity built up on screen the past couple months to the point where it makes too much sense to put these guys in a singles match against each other. When that might happen, I don't know. Maybe SummerSlam this year. He definitely signed up for more than one match from this. I should say he signed up for more than 2 matches, because I think he's getting The Rock and Reigns at WrestleMania next year. But if, let's say, this is a year-long run for The Rock, maybe this is The Rock and Cody at SummerSlam in Cleveland. Maybe sooner, maybe a Saudi Arabia show. Now, for second straight WrestleMania, you have the very clear visual of Cody Rhodes sitting there dejected in the ring, just facing away from the stage, just sitting down, just wondering what's going on. Of course, that was a very famous visual last year when everyone expected him to win the title from Reigns. Of course, it did not happen. So this time around, you have him and Rollins sitting in the ring, just kind of being like, what happened here? And now you have the Bloodline rules match that's going to come into play tomorrow night. And I just want chaos. Give me all the chaos. Give me the circus. Give me an overbooked circus of chaos. Give me everything. Give me all the people interfering. Give me every single Bloodline member interfering. Give me John Cena. I'm not convinced of this, but Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe. And then everyone else who's ever been wronged by the Bloodline the past couple of years. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, you name them, have them show up, have them get involved in some way to make this just a chaotic mess where everyone's trying to fend off the Bloodline. It would be a turning point of WWE saying, okay, we're officially turning the page to the next chapter of what's going to happen to the Bloodline. We'll see if they end up doing that, or if it's more just Cody having to fight off just everyone on his own in some way, shape, or form. My ultimate dream, though, is to have Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust for WWE fans, showing up there to go help out his brother. Do I think AEW is going to do WWE a favor? No. Unless they make some kind of deal or some kind of trade. I just want a car crash of a match. I want just overbooked chaos. I want fun. I want something that's just going to rile up the crowd, because the crowd just was not good. They weren't there tonight, really. Granted, it was packed and full, and maybe it was because of the chill and the cold. I found that pretty surprising, given it's Philadelphia. And you'd think they would make noise no matter what. And they did make noise in the main event. And they made noise in the opening match, but pretty quiet otherwise, I would say, which was surprising. So tomorrow night, I would think Cody Rhodes takes home the title and ends Reigns' run. Am I fully convinced of it? No, because this is WWE. Anything can happen. And if they really want Reigns to take that next step with this title reign, oh, man, you could be getting a whole another year of this to build up to Reigns and Rock. Because, Reigns and Rock was the plan. This was the plan. And, Reigns was going to walk out with the title. So maybe WWE pivoted, and maybe they're thinking maybe this is still Cody's time. This is going to be Cody's time. As of now, I am not 100% convinced that this is going to happen as a lot of fans want. Although Cody Rhodes got booed tonight and The Rock got cheered, kind of switched a little bit towards the norm by the end. But Philly can also be an interesting crowd with how they cheer and boo things. I mean, let's see what happens tomorrow night. It's going to be a fascinating night 2 of WrestleMania 40, and looking forward to seeing what's in store. And we'll be back with another round of reactions here to see what goes down on what should be a very, very intriguing night that's going to set up WWE for the rest of this year and beyond, because if Reigns loses that title, it shakes everything up.